can't do much then.
I guess. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to the Finance Story LinkedIn Live series, where we bring you market trends, insights, and career opportunities for finance, tax, and accounting professionals. Today's conversation is powered by Zen Statement, which is an AI-powered finance operating system which helps you solve the reconciliation hell. So do check them out. It is co-founded by Saurabh, another chartered accountant, worked at the Big Fours, and is solving a major problem with Zen Statement. So, today's topic is very interesting. As you all know, we are entering the second major audit rotation cycle in India, with companies that reset auditors in 2017 are now hitting the 10-year gap. So the big question is, how could this potentially reshape the audit market again? What is the disruption that can happen with it? For mid-sized firms, is this like a big, genuine opportunity for them? So to help us understand this and a lot more, we have with us Akshay Purandare, who's a partner at Kirtane Pandit, a member firm of the KGS Alliance, which we'll try to understand more about, and Vikas, senior partner and CEO at R Chadha. So, Vikas and Akshay, thanks a ton for joining in. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Akshay, I'll just ask you the first question. Can you tell us a little bit, Akshay, about audit rotation? What exactly is this audit rotation that's happening? Some data say that 928 companies are due for audit rotation. So, what does it exactly mean? Does it include only listed, unlisted companies? A little background would help.
Okay. So, as you all know, that Companies Act introduced this rotation of auditors in 5 years term through Companies Act 2013, and the maximum term which auditors can serve of certain parameters based companies is 2 terms of 5 years. So I believe first term was somewhere in the years 2017 and 2018 when the act was introduced first time, and then the next cycle of rotation will fall in next 2025 26 and 2026-27. So these 2 years will have another term of rotation once auditors are completing their another 10 years rotation cycle, that is 5 years first term and 5 years of second term. So the number I think you are mentioning are mostly listed entities. Of course, there are unlisted entities, but the information is not available in public domain as such to that scale. But the numbers which you are actually mentioning are more towards listed entities rotation, which will fall due in 2025-26 and 2026-27. When you are talking about 2025-26 and 2026-27, so the rotation actually happens after completion of audit of 2025-26 and 2026-27. So auditors will complete this cycle, and then the new auditors will come into the picture.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Akshay. Vikas, would you want to add anything over here, or Akshay has covered most of it?
No, I think Akshay has covered. So primarily, as he has said, 25-26 means people are completing their terms in 25-26. So actually the rotation is 26-27 and accordingly 27-28. So these 2 years put together is around 900 companies, which we have been talking, which is on the listed space primarily, where the rotation will happen. For unlisted companies, it's totally different. And there is, as he has said, there is no public data, but otherwise people keep on working on it as to how many companies are there in that space as well. Yeah.
But any approximate number of how many companies in the unlisted space?
I do not have that data with me.
Okay, cool. 2017 was like the first real audit rotation wave that happened when long-standing auditors' relationships were forcibly reset. So what actually changed after that for R Chadha and also for Kirtane Pandit? Vikas, would you want to take that first?
So, I mean, do you mean to say that how the relationship has changed with those entities?
Yeah.
So,
What was the impact?
Pardon?
What was the impact of the audit rotation, and what was the opportunities, that a firm like yours could tap into?
No, I think there are a lot of opportunities which came through rotation. And in fact, I personally believe that rotation brought into perspective that the people who will do better and who can actually serve the clients better and do something which can add a value to the clients will survive and get much more opportunities, as compared to the people who have been doing the audits for ages and the clients are continuing because of their old relationship only. Now it is not only relationship, it's also the value proposition which you bring on the board, which is becoming important. So I feel for TRC also it has been good. We have been able to get good entries into various corporates, which were earlier unthinkable because they were changing their auditor. And it is going to be further good as well. When we are seeing from other rotations, I am sure we are going to do better and we are going to do well. And ultimately, what comes through is that what you are doing, how you are doing. So if you're doing well, if you're adding value proposition, you're able to deliver in time and with quality. Because nowadays, if you see, all the companies have very, very strengthened board also. It's not only management, it's also the independent directors and other people who are watching you and who are regularly interacting with you. So there is a communication which is happening with those charged with governance. So they keep on evaluating you. And the people, whether it's TRC or whether it's Kirtane Pandit or many other large Indian mid-sized firms, we all, I think, have to gain. So we are doing better in that way.
Amazing. So if I don't know if this question makes sense, but let me just ask you, before the audit rotation, what was the number or what was the percentage of audit revenue at TRC? And how did the audit rotation, create a significant positive impact on firms like yours? I'll also ask Akshay, but this is for you.
So I must say, like in TRC, we have 4 divisions and all have been equally large. But rotation helped us to increase the share of assurance business in the firm overall basis. So like if I tell you, like taxation is a significant piece for us. We have an equally large team in tax as well. Similarly, on the risk and advisory, we have equally large team. But in the fee proportion, when I see that assurance is gaining more and the increase in the assurance has been better as compared to the other verticals. But overall, we have grown in all the verticals. So it's not that it is changing dramatically, but yes, some movement is there with respect to the assurance, and which has been helped because of rotation as well.
Okay. Thank you for this. Akshay, over to you.
Yeah. So I'll answer your second question first. See, Kirtane Pandit being a 7-decade legacy firm, the legacies of assurance practice. So in terms of internal proportion, that has not changed substantially because audit is something which comes to us as a legacy of last 7 decades, and we keep doing better work in terms of audit space, improving our audit quality, improving our independence mechanism, improving our documentations. So that is something which we have been doing for last 7 decades, and we keep on doing that over next many decades. To answer your question, there has not been substantial change in terms of proportion of audit revenue which we were handling. But 2017-18 was the cycle where we could add some additional number of listed entities to our credentials, and that has helped in terms of building our profile for statutory audit space. And this will again help us in terms of this 2 years of rotation cycle which is coming up in the immediate 2 years. So that is something which we see of 2017, the real disruption happen in the audit space in India for the first time. And whatever a number of audits we were doing before that, and when we added a few more to our credentials in 2017-18, that is going to keep on increasing. Like the rotation is one of the aspect, but we have been working on many entities who actually gone for listing after 2017-18. As you could see, there is a lot of traction in India in terms of IPO space. So a lot of companies who were our existing clients has gone for listing in last 9 to 10 years. So that has also helped us in terms of improving our credentials for listed audit into this space.
Okay. So Akshay, over to you. What is most exciting right now in this second wave? Like, how is this second wave different from the first wave? And what are the opportunities bigger? Is there a shift, that a visible shift that is that you can tap into?
Okay. In terms of landscape, it has changed substantially from 2017-18 to what we are seeing right now. NAFRA came into picture. There are a lot of guidance from NAFRA which has come in recent times, and the firms are aligning their documentation with respect to standards on auditing, NAFRA, whatever regulatory changes which are happening in India. The firms are aligning their audit procedures and documentation with respect to regulatory updates. So the landscape of regulatory has changed substantially from 2017-18 to today's date. That is something which we can see a substantial change in the audit methodologies, procedures, and documentations. The technology has also changed. So there are a lot of technology which has been implemented in the audit procedures, be it audit tools, be it sampling tools, be it casewares, or be it data analytics, which the firms have started building. In global scenario, there is a lot of demand for shift from reasonable assurance to absolute assurance. So theoretically, that how that will happen is a separate question. But from industry perspective, they are expecting a whole lot of data to be covered. And as the data sets are getting wider and wider, data analytics is one thing which I'm sure most of the mid-sized and large firms have added to their credentials in terms of internal capacity building of the firms. In terms of additional facets of audit practice, I think over the last few years, ESG assurance is something which has come into the picture of listed entities. Like for the financial year 25-26, there would be 500 top 500 market cap companies who will undergo BRSR assurance in India. Either it would be assurance or assessment, that is up to the companies. But BRSR assurance is something which firms have started adding. Like Kirtane Pandit, we have started working in this domain for last 3 years, and we have added our own internal capabilities to deliver BRSR assurance. Be it ICS course on BRSR certification, or IIMs are also started their courses in terms of executive programs for ESG and ESG assurance mandate. So I think ESG assurance is something which most large and mid-sized firm have started building as their own capability. And once you have those capabilities as BRSR assurance provider, it will certainly help in terms of securing large audit mandates, or prove your capabilities in terms of technological bids when you are bidding for or submitting your RFQs to large market cap companies.
Amazing. I have a lot of questions on how do you secure large audit mandates, what goes behind the scenes. But before that, Vikas, what are your 2 cents on this?
So, until I feel that things have changed. Number one, we have changed. In a sense, we have increased our capacity, whether in terms of technology or internal governance process or internal control process, the way we deal with the audit, the way we communicate. So we have changed, and we have actually ensured that we come up to the expectations. So that is the first thing which I believe, that we have changed, and we are changing very fast. So we are continuously ensuring that we are coming up to the expectations of the regulators, companies, and all other stakeholders. That is first. Second, I believe there is a change in the perception as well, in a sense that after government started talking that they are also looking for Indian Big Four, means that they want the Indian CA firms also to grow. So that has created a lot of buzz. Many of the corporates for whom earlier it was only Big Four or Big Six, they have also started talking that even if they take other than Big Four or Big Six, it's not a taboo. It's the government is taking it positively. They themselves are working on it, or they themselves are talking on it. So I believe that has also made some change in the discussion. Of course, it is not easy to just change the auditor and bring mid-sized firms. But at the same time, people have started talking, and I'm sure this is going to have impact somewhere. Third, I believe this rotation by RBI, which they have brought for the banks and NBFCs, those corporates, when you talk to them individually, in fact, most of them were working with Big Four earlier. And then when they started working with Indians, large CA firms like us, I think they're very happy. And they have started talking. In fact, when they have opportunity now in the rotation, even if they have Big Four or Big Six, many times they prefer large Indian CA firms. So why? Because they have realized the value. They have realized that they are able to do the similar work and they are generally happy. That's my assessment. That's my talk with them. So that creates a lot of buzz in the industry. So when somebody at a large NBFC talks to others that their experience was good and their apprehensions which they had earlier, those are all taken care of. It creates a buzz that yes, large Indian CA firms can handle any size of companies and any complexity. So I believe things have changed, but at the same time, you will ultimately appreciate that the dominance of the big four or big six has been significantly high. It's not going to be easy. So there are shift. It is going to help and improve Indian large CA firms, but it will take time. So, but we are entering into that space now.
Amazing. Okay, so I have this question for you. Just while speaking to both of you, what are the concerns that probably CFOs of these large companies would have? Because when you talk about a big four, big six, right, they're miles ahead in terms of tech, in terms of team, in terms of a lot of aspects, right? And both your firms are are pretty. They're large firms. You guys are large firms, Indian large firms, been for decades. So, what are the CFO's concerns when making such pitches? Akshay,
So
would you
to
want to
my
take
mind, I'm
Vikas?
just sorry, Akshay,
Vikas.
please go.
Let
No,
me just
Vikas.
complete. I will.
Vikas.
Okay.
No problem.
So I
Thank
was,
you.
as I said, that the first thing which all of them have been looking upon is on the size. They for the large companies I'm talking about. If you're talking of companies of $8 billion, $10 billion, their first thing was whether Indian CF firms have the size and the capability to handle in time. Because the larger the company, the time crunch is more, and everybody wants to come by 15th April or 20th April or 25th April. And if you see that more with the larger companies. So their first point was whether Indian CA firms will be able to complete that and complete that in time. That was the first concern they have. Second, on the technology, that big fours are having technology by which they are having to do things better, audit documentation is better, their sampling is better. Are Indian CA firms able to do that? So I think we have demonstrated that now. We have embraced technology. We have started many of us, if not all, most of us have started using softwares for the audit documentation, which might not have been there 10 years back. But over a period, we all have started doing that because without technology, we realize we will not be able to deliver. So now our documentation is as strong as required, basically, because of that use of technology. Even while doing the audit, are we using the AI? Are we using the audit softwares which can help us to do the things better and faster with more accurate result? Yes, we have moved there also. We have started doing a lot of things there also. So as I said, second was always on the technology. Third, they always had on the research team or the quality team, which they felt that if they are getting any complex questions, any complex accounting matters, whether we will be able to guide them, whether we will be able to tell them that what is the right way to go about it. So that was another concern which I felt they had. And they have realized that most of the firms like us have also invested a lot on the research, have invested a lot on the quality, and we all have the quality team now which can handle and which can take care of the complex of the matters, and we can guide the largest of the companies as to how they have to go about it and what the Indies is talking or what the US gap is talking. So we can interpret all of that and give them guidance. So I think these were the three key things which they had. And of course, one last was on the visibility or the branding, which is not we cannot say that we are that level, but we try our best to see that how can we have our own visibility, because most important thing from my perspective is to get a foot in the door. First, we should be able to reach there to tell them that, demonstrate them. Once we have that opportunity, then they realize, yes, there is also this firm or that firm which can do well. But to get that, to have that branding and visibility, it will take time. So we are still working on it. That's what I believe.
I have this additional question for you. When you said technology, right? Technology is whenever you read anything about technology, everything runs into significant investments. So, how has TR Chadha looked at the investment into technology? Is it a very big part of your budget? Does it take a big
So
part of
I
your
do
budget?
not think it is so significant. I do not think it is so significant. Yes, it costs a lot of money, but as compared to the growth in the business, and in fact, in my view, the fees have also grown. We have started charging more or asking more, and the corporates are happy to pay that. audit committees are happy to pay that because they have understood there are a lot of complexity because of regulatory requirements. Our spending on the documentation and the technology has increased. So they all have understood and realized. So we have started getting more. And even if we are not getting sufficient, still we have to invest on technology because it's a question, what do you do first? First, you invest in that, and there you are able to get good work, or you get the good work first, and then you start in the technology. The reverse is not going to happen. So we have invested, yes, good money we have invested, but it's not very significant, which dents your profitability significantly or your cash flow significantly. Because there are many technology which is not very costly. Like if I have to take an for our team, you need licenses and you need those software. So that is costing you money, but not something which cannot be offsetted by the fees which you are getting or the increase in the business which you are getting.
Cool. Because from what I've been reading in the international markets, UK, US, because now it's like one global world, so many things are happening. We follow every country. A lot of investment is actually happening in CPA firms, accounting firms to enhance the tech. And they're all, using A plus technology over there and millions in dollars. So you see that happening here as well? Is there a need?
I think for auditing firm, there are two different things. One is consulting side, and other thing, second is on the auditing side. On auditing side, it's not that you need very, very heavy technology and invest billions of dollars or millions of dollars. I do not think so from Indian perspective at present. There is a good money getting spent on the technology, but it's not so significant, I believe, that you have to have the private equity investors and then only you will be able to do it. Whereas when you go on the consulting side, that's a separate ballgame. There, the things are different in a sense. You have to invest much more in getting much more mandates. Here, it is something which is legislated that what you have to do and how you have to go about it. And so far, you are able to do with proper audit software and audit tools which you are using for your audit purposes. Things get taken care of. Yes, on the research, on the quality, you have to invest extra. That also you have to do gradually. It's not something you have to do everything on day one. And gradually you keep on doing that. Gradually you keep on improving that.
Amazing. Thank you. Akshay, over to you. The same questions to you.
Yeah. Vikas has mentioned very rightly that people, technology, and quality research. These are the aspects which companies and CFOs of large entities are evaluating when they are considering the audit rotation cycle. We have also seen a shift in the mindset that in the earlier cycle, there used to be RFQ, which is techno commercial RFQ. Now the CFOs and companies have started with the process of layer that first you submit your technical capabilities. We will evaluate your technical bid. We will shortlist technical bids, and then we will ask for commercial bids. So that shift in mindset also I have observed in some of the cases that first you are invited by the audit committee, CFO, and board to demonstrate your technical abilities, and then once few firms are shortlisted based on technical capabilities, then you are invited to submit your commercial proposal. Like earlier cycle, there used to be one combined techno-commercial proposals that has changed substantially from 2017-18 cycle, and what we can expect in this cycle and what we are witnessing in some of the large cases. So that is what I have seen change from last 10 years. And as Vikas has rightly mentioned that beyond accounting expertise and beyond accounting domain knowledge, now the company CFOs and audit committees are expecting technical knowledge of the industry as well. Like if I am working in a specific industry to handle the audits, then whether that engagement partner is having a substantial experience in that industry or sector, that is something which is also being evaluated. So that adds a different dimension to your technical capabilities, and that is something which most of the mid-size and large firms are focusing on strengthening their capabilities.
Okay. Thank you. And what about the tech part of it? Would you want to take up the tech part? How has the tech investments significantly
Yeah.
increased? Has it really increased?
Yeah. So as Vikas has mentioned rightly that in audit domain, there is no substantial financial investments which are required there has been substantial change in the availability of audit tools and data analytic tools and other AI related tools which can be part of audit process in India, and these tools are available at a reasonable pricing in India also. So I don't see that substantial financial investments are required in the technology and tools in India as of this point of time. You don't know what will happen in next 1 or 2 years, but as of today, I think there is no substantial financial investments which are required in the audit domain. If you're talking about consulting space, it's entirely a different game.
Okay, cool. Akshay, you can start with this. I know you've answered parts of this, but when it comes to redistribution of audits, right? Do you see a lot of redistribution happening only with the larger networks? I mean, or now there's a genuine, genuine opportunity for everyone who is applying, if this made sense.
Yeah, I think there would be a lot of change in the market share in this particular cycle. Last, I think 2017-18, it was more of a redistribution between the size of firms and size of entities which are due for rotation. But I see this year or this audit rotation cycle would see some kind of change in the mindset and change in the market share when we are talking about large listed entities. Of course, in the last cycle, there was majorly change between the same sort of company's size and audit firm size. But this rotation cycle may see some change in the market share. Over last 10 years, there has been substantial improvements in terms of capabilities of large Indian audit firms, in terms of number of partners, in terms of staff availability, in terms of their geographical presence and industries presence. That has completely changed from 2017-18 cycle to today's date, and that will certainly give added advantage or cutting edge in terms of submitting their technical RFQs and bids when it comes to large listed entities. And I also believe in this cycle, even industry would consider inviting large Indian firms to demonstrate their capabilities. I think once that happens, then you can actually compare apple to apple when it comes to technical capabilities.
Amazing. Amazing. Would you want to take that, Vikas? Would you want to add any point to that?
So I agree with Akshay. Actually, we definitely expect boards, especially of the Indian companies, that they will be inviting large Indian CF firms. And I believe things have changed as compared to 2017, where it was that the big four, wherever they were auditors, it was only changing from X to Y, and then in fact generally at a reduced fees. That was the idea at that point of time. And but now, in fact, if you see even in the last 10 years after 2017, from big four it has become big six now at least. So two more firms have started getting a lot of work. So that distribution has already happened. It means the companies in India have started thinking beyond big four, and there are two more firms added. Similarly, we believe that in the coming rotation, which is happening in next 2 years, there will be many more large firms which will get added by the industry, and they will also look for the need to have more firms rather than having a concentration with few firms. And especially because the firms have grown now, they have demonstrated now they are able to do large and good work. So I'm sure that they will be invited and they will get a fair opportunity and chance.
Amazing, amazing. Akshay, this is for you.
Just a small addition I would like to do. I believe this number is not something which has been given by any institute or any regulatory body in terms of big six or big four. But in India, I would believe that it will be more of number of listed entities audit which these firms are carrying out. And I could see if that happens in this rotation cycle, we could see addition of few more audit firms in this space beyond the number of firms which we are talking about. And there could be some disruption also that we can anticipate if this number changes substantially in the rotation cycle. As we are seeing, there are more than 900 companies which are due for rotation. There is a possibility that this reshuffling may happen.
Amazing. That's amazing. Akshay, more about KGS Alliance, right? Can you tell us a little bit about KGS Alliance as well, and how this has changed your approach to the audit rotation cycle. I have some data over here which says that earlier, or I don't know if it's the current data, it's not really mentioned by Prime Database. It's as per June 2025. It says Kirtane and Pandit, the share is number of firms is 24, number of companies is 24, SS Kothari is 29. There's also TR Chadha, which is 16. So, Akshay, what is this KGS Alliance impact going to be on this new audit rotation cycle? And tell us a little bit about KGS.
Yeah, I will first tell you about KGS Alliance. So on 1st of July, this alliance was approved by ICI. It's a bit different model than the network model. So alliance is a different model. And yes, so the number which we have got has got some predecessors also. So it's not like only one alliance which is registered with ICI. But in terms of significance, I would believe that a firm from north, a firm from west, and firm from south coming together would make a substantial contribution in this field when we are talking about Indian landscape. And as you rightly said, the numbers are significant when we are talking about collective numbers as alliance. And when we are demonstrating this collective number as alliance, it's more of enabler for all the firms, which are KGS Alliance, Kirtane Pandit, SS Kothari Mehta, and Guru Anjana. So it's more of enabler, I would see. And when we started interacting, it's just 9 months old alliance. And when the partners we have started interacting in terms of different service line, different capabilities, different location, there is more of improvement in terms of our existing capabilities, our existing processes, our procedures, and the more collaboration which will happen in the months and years to come, the more significance it will start developing in terms of demonstrating its capabilities as an alliance. So what we see in months and years to come, that once the collaboration is also getting extended and the day by day it will start strengthening, it will have its own result in terms of technical capabilities and the delivery of work which we demonstrate with the large entities in India.
Amazing. So when you approach, companies, right? What does being a part of an alliance actually matter to a CFO? Like, what is the difference being Kirtane and Pandit and being KGS?
Yeah, so generally what happens when companies are invited in terms of submitting RFQs, or some of the companies have asked about what this exactly means when you're talking about alliance. So initially we had to kind of give notification kind of update to them that the individual capacity of the firm and legal existence will remain as it is, how the alliance model has been established by ICI through its rules and regulations, and which firm will be the signing firm for the particular company. So there was a lot of awareness which we had to create with our existing clients who were asking about how does this alliance actually work in terms of our own company. So that was the first step. It was more about awareness for existing client, how KGS Alliance would work for them and what they can expect from the alliance. So as of now, the KGS Alliance for them means that the existing capabilities of individual firms are extended beyond what it used to be, and the technical capabilities as well as the industry expertise which would be available for them would be kind of on a larger scale as compared to individual firms. So when we are talking about individual firm as Kirtane and Pandit, and when we are talking about KGS Alliance, it certainly adds more value in terms of numbers, the statistics, and the overall geographical presence in India.
This can be a separate conversation only because there are so many nuances to it. But I just have one question. So when you approach a company, do you approach as KGS or do you approach as Kirtane and Pandit? And when you talk about technology, the whole purpose is to come together and achieve bigger and more. So do you have you seen consolidation of tech happening? Is there pooling of money for technology already happening, or how is it working? If you can share any of this.
Yeah. So some of the things which I can share, I will share with you right now. That when companies are inviting to submit our firm profile, what we have to do is we have to give details about what the alliance means, who are alliance members of this KGS Alliance, and how it works for them. So kind of initial pitch is about what KGS Alliance is, and when we are kind of proceeding ahead with the audit firm allocation, or who will be the audit firm who will be signing off the financial statements, then we will have to mention about what Kirtane Pandit is and the profile of Kirtane Pandit that is being demonstrated to them. So that is how the technical pitch happens for KGS Alliance throughout India.
Okay.
And when you're talking about pooling of kind of technology which we are using, that is the next stage of alliance. That there are a lot of technical subscriptions, there are a lot of databases which we are using. So in the next stage, which is happening right now, that we are pooling this technology and how we can get best out of the technology for all the three firms. That is something which we have started in the second phase of alliance.
Amazing. So from what I see of the data, with three firms coming together, you're almost closer to the PwC group in terms of audits, right? So you're almost closer to that. So in the next audit rotation cycle, it'll be way higher.
We hope so.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Vikas, would you have any questions for Akshay on this? I mean, you all are from the same industry. Would you have any questions, any curiosity on this KGS Alliance or any points?
I would like to mention that from the fraternity itself, when this alliance was announced, I've heard from the managing partners of all three firms that there is a mutual respect from all the fraternity members when this alliance was announced.
Amazing. That's amazing. That's great. Because you have any pointers, any
No,
questions on it?
so we have been talking on this. In fact, Sandeep is a very good friend of mine, and we have been speaking on this even before this has come. So we definitely understand this and its benefit. In fact, from TRC perspective also, we have been talking, but we are going slow because we still have, from our perspective, we are still not very clear that how does that work and how does it impact the independence or the other stuff which we have to deal with. So all those issues are there, and we believe that ICI is also expected to come with more clarity on various issues. So we that is the reason we have not been so active on that. But I think KGS is a great thing, and definitely that is ultimately the way forward. Once we have the clarity on certain issues, people have to come together, and then only we can achieve much more. Yeah.
Amazing. That's amazing. I have this question for you, which is pretty much the process of how exactly do firms like yours decide, to pursue a company or a mandate? What is the process like? Do you get invited by the CFO? What goes behind the scenes? Vikas, would you want to take this first?
Sorry, the sound was not very clear to me.
Yes. So, Vikas, my question is, what goes behind the scenes of actually acquiring a company, applying for, the mandate? What is the process like? How do you get invited to be an auditor? How do you cover the firm?
Definitely. So generally, the corporates, while undertaking the process, they approach you. And they approach you based on their past acquaintance or known, or somebody in the board knows you, or the CFO or somebody in the management knows you. Accordingly, they approach you. And once they approach you, I mean, definitely the whole process starts. And I definitely feel and believe that once you, as I said initially also, once you get a foot in the door, then it is for you to go and make them understand as to what it is and how it is. But the basic thing is that you have to be in touch with the decision makers. You have to be in touch with the people who matters, so that at least they invite you. Once they invite, then thereafter it is on your strength and how do they compare with other firms with whom they are getting the quotation and other aspect and the proposals basically. And as Akshay was saying, nowadays it is not much on the fees. Fees plays a role, but it is more on the capacity, because it's not only the auditors, it is also the company which gets exposed in case if the auditor is not able to do a good work, if they are not able to tell them in time, if there are any gaps or any issues. So the whole board and the people understands it, and that's why they want to hire people which will be able to do and demonstrate them a good work. So it's a different ball game nowadays in that way. And of course, once you are invited, then of course there are many things relating to the firm, which even Akshay was talking, like your sector expertise becomes a very, very important play. So if you're going to an NBFC and you are not able to discuss much on ECL, then you have no space there basically. So you have to have the understanding of the sector, whether it is NBFC, whether it is infra, and all other stuff. Similarly, if you are dealing with large corporates, they definitely people prefer people with large presence and national presence, at least if not international presence. They definitely want to have people who have offices all over, who can handle the things, and there the alliances also work and helps a lot. Basically, the size matters, your technology matters, your sector expertise matters. Nowadays, you must be aware on AQMM also. Even that people have started talking a lot, because institute has come with this AQMM and most of the firms have gone through the process, and in fact it is required that you publish it. So from our side, in all our communication, when we do the presentation, we talk on that that's where we are on AQMM, where we are scoring, and how we have ensured that we are able to do well on the AQMM. So that also becomes an important element. So there are all these elements put together, goes behind scenes as well. It's not that something else is happening behind scene. It's all your capability and it's all your how you demonstrate them that goes it behind the scenes.
Amazing, amazing. I have this question which says, like, how many years or months prior to this have you all you'll have started approaching companies? There would be a lot of companies that you don't have a network in, or you don't know people in there. So has it happened that it was difficult to get your foot into the door? Does it happen all the time? And what has been the strategy from the entry point? How do you work backwards?
So, see, I mean, we are not allowed to advertise. We cannot advertise.
Yeah.
We cannot just go and approach anyone primarily or send your profile or do something. That's not something which is allowed still as per the institute norms, whether we like it or not, but that is how the norm is. And we have to respect that at present. So we don't do that. But at the same time, as I said, it's more on the relationship. So it depends that you definitely, we all have the list as to which companies are going for rotation. It is no
Yeah.
more secret. So you have the data, you were quoting prime data. So they themselves provide you all that list and all those information. So you have the information, you have the list, you know who are the people who are working there or who are the people on the board there. So then you evaluate as to which are the people with whom you have relationship, basically, to whom you know. And the whole idea is to connect one to one and find out if there is anything without doing any advertisement. So you can only approach a bit, but ultimately it is on those corporates to come back and say that, yes, we are looking for the proposal. Once it comes officially, then you are all out and you work everything. You provide all the information, you give a good pitch, you provide a good presentation, everything else you do.
Amazing. Thank you. Akshay, over to you. What goes behind the scenes? How
Yeah,
is it?
so like
How is you?
yeah, so like he has mentioned that you have to kind of wait for companies when they ask you for your technical bid or commercial bid. That is how the scenario in India works. And generally, what happens is there goes a lot of research oriented work once these companies approach you to submit your technical bids. So it's more of analysis and research oriented work of their published financial statement, what is happening in the industry, and that sort of research oriented work goes behind the scene. And when you are doing such kind of research, I believe you need to have the capability of the team members who are doing research on that work. So it has to be a mix of people from the data analytics to people from audit quality background who can read the financial statements and analyze those financial statements, have understanding about the industry. So that is something which goes behind the scenes when you are asked to prepare your technical bid. So in terms of doing that kind of research work, you need to have a dedicated team. This is something which you cannot do with your existing audit teams. So creating those audit teams is something which most of the large firms have invested in terms of their own research, and then the research work keeps on going on and on. When these audit rotation cycles are also concluded, then their participation continues in terms of research of the industry, the research of particular sector that company falls into. And it's not like 2 years rotation cycle will end and begin in another 10 years. I also felt that companies are actually evaluating after completion of 5-year term also. So once that last audit rotation cycle happened of 17-18, there were companies who evaluated after completion of a term of 5 years. So this work will go on behind the scene in terms of analyzing and researching on the listed entities' financial statements. And
Amazing.
also the pitch decks which are required to be aligned, as
Yep.
Vikas had mentioned that the AQMM is something which you talk about during your audit pitch, your knowledge of industry, updating your own capabilities in terms of the partners and directors of the firm, geographical location. So these are some of the things which goes behind the scenes in terms of building those pitch decks.
Okay, okay, amazing. I've also heard that it's getting very competitive. Though you'll say pricing, everyone is pricing is no longer a discussion point. If there's good quality work, etc., all is fine. But it is getting competitive. Like there are there are firms, the big sticks maybe, who are actually pricing a little lower than normal. So is that happening, or am
See,
I just getting the wrong?
no, I don't want to comment whether you are getting right or wrong, but what we have seen within our firm is that we actually demonstrate the fees based on the effort. So whatever fees
Yeah.
we are quoting once the technical bids are progressed, the fees are actually based on the efforts which are going into that particular audit. The
Yeah.
significant increase in time of partner, manager, and director, that is something which we need to consider when you are quoting the audit fees of the large entities. So I don't see undercutting as such in terms of this listed entities, but
Yeah.
more of the fees which are based on effort which are required to be considered, like the first year of audit, when the rotation actually happens, the efforts are more, but as you go
Yeah.
on continuing the audit, the effort may not be in terms of time spent, may not be at the same level when the partner or director or manager of the audit firms are getting involved. Of course, at ground level there will be same amount of time which needs to be spent, but the learning curve will happen in the audit process. So this is something you need to consider when you are putting the audit fees. That is my take.
Okay. So, Vikas and Akshay, has there been a situation where you all, had to make a presentation for the audit? Everything was great, but a competitor, outpaced in terms of pricing. So, does that happen? And then there's a discussion that, hey, a bigger firm is charging something is lesser than your firm. Does it happen, or it no longer happens? Vikas, would you want to take it?
So, to my mind, it happens. It's not that it doesn't happen, right? But the periodicity of the numbers have decreased as compared to what it used to be earlier. In fact, the
Yeah.
CA firms have also started realizing that you will not be able to continue for long and not be able to provide quality service if you
Yeah.
have to do it lower fees, basically. So firms have also realized and understood, and at least we are very clear, unless and until we are getting paid for the efforts to be met, what Akshay was also talking, we are even refusing the mandates. It's not the
Okay.
same thing what used to be earlier, that okay, even if they are paying lower, we will manage the cost and it will happen. No, it is no more the case. There are mandates which gets refused because of the fees, and good numbers actually. So that keeps on happening, and of course, why if we have to refuse, it means somebody else is doing it at a lower cost. That's why we have not been able to get that. But we are okay with it because we understand and realize, even if some other firms which are taking it at a lower price, they will also realize, and if not now, maybe after a year or two, they will also come back to the table and say, sorry, this is not workable. And from
Yeah.
corporate side also, overall, I can tell you that the fees have increased. There is more awareness on the corporate side as well as firm side that if you pay peanuts, you will get only monkeys. You can't get
Yeah.
good quality work unless and until you pay for it, because we have to also pay salaries to our people. It's our people which is our major cost apart from technology. So definitely we have to be paid for it. So things have improved, fees are better, but on and out keeps on coming where you have to refuse because the competitors are charging lower, and in some cases, as you said, even big six they ask for much lower. Those are also instances, but it is much
Yeah.
lower.
Okay. Okay. Akshay, would you want to add anything, or?
I totally agree with this. There are no regrets if you are losing out on commercial bids. Whatever fees you are putting are based on your effort estimate, which is going to be in the audit process. So if your proposal is not accepted on fees, I think that is something which the large firms are acceptable and okay with. But I think yes, there is a change in terms of audit fees, which are going. I believe from the previous audit rotation cycle, they are always on the higher side when you are talking, because the landscape
What
has
is
entirely. Yeah.
And what has been the percentage hike in terms of audit fees? Because last 2 years ago, there was a whole article on ET, right? That India is the only country where the audit fees haven't increased compared to the other countries in the world. But the market cap is really multiplied, but the audit fees hasn't. So, what is the percentage hike approximately if you'll have?
So generally, what we see in global scenario, the auditors are actually quoting the inflation in the fees year on year. But in India, the scenario is slightly different. That the fees are generally agreed for 2 years unless there is substantial change in functions and operations of the company or volumes of the transactions within the company. So inflation adjustment, I feel that that is something which needs to be considered by most of the firms when we are quoting about this fees. But yes, when you are comparing the global scenario, yeah, it's more of effort-based work which is being considered for fees revision.
Okay, okay. So, there's no definite number as such where you could say, there's been a 25,
Uh,
20, 30% hike.
don't have this exact number that year on year 10% or 15% inflation
Yeah.
happens, but it's more of effort in the company, or the volume or the nature or operations of the company gets changed. The number generally gets substantially, but otherwise it's more of inflation adjustments which are agreed with audit committees.
Just
Okay.
to
I've
add
got,
here, I just want to add here.
yeah.
Maybe many times we are not able to see that change or increase in the fees because when you are comparing it with the market cap. So suppose a company's market cap has increased from, which has happened in India, from 1,000 crores to 2,000 crores. So when you're comparing the fees with market cap or with the turnover, which has also increased significantly, you may not see that change. But in real numbers, you will find that the fees have increased. So suppose I was getting a fees of 50 lakhs and
Yeah.
market cap was 1,000 crore. The market cap has become 2,000 crore. I'm getting a fees of 75 lakhs. So
Yeah.
maybe in proportion to the market cap, my fees has not increased. But in real
Yeah.
term numbers, my fees has increased. My cost has increased only to that extent. It's not that if the market cap has increased, my costing is also increasing accordingly. So, but in tune with the costing, I believe that generally we are able to get fees increase.
Amazing. So these are some great insights. I've got two more questions. I've asked you a lot of questions. These are just two more. What has been the impact of the audit rotations here in terms of partner mobility? Has there been a lot of attrition that's happening? Akshay, what do you want to take this first?
Yes, so in the fraternity, I would see there is a lot of movement which is being happened in last 1 or 2 years when you're talking about industry-specific partners which are being kind of moving out from one firm to another firm. Within KGS Alliance and Kirtane Pandit, if you observe that we believe in promoting the nurture talent which is there in the firm. Like myself, I started with the firm as article of the firm and now a partner of the firm. Likewise, in the alliance, we have seen most of the partners who are partners of the firm are kind of coming through the ranks of the firm. So we believe that the homegrown talent which is nurtured over the years gets the opportunity uh, to be the partners of the firm. But yes, of course, if there are specific requirements, there would be movements of the
Yeah.
specific sector or specific industry which is not available within the firm, and if the talent is available, I think uh, the possibilities of moving of partners level and that mobility is something which you can anticipate over next 2 years also. Myself, I there are a lot of headhunting firms who will try to reach out to you. So sort of practice is getting more momentum in India. Earlier, I never experienced this sort of momentum in India, but yes, this is also something which has been happening.
Amazing. So have you done a lot of partner hiring as well? Has it happened? Akshay, I mean,
Yeah, so for us, it's KGS Alliance, which has happened in this particular year. So in terms of
Yeah.
partners, we are already improved in terms of total number of partners who are handling the audits. And within the firm also, we have got a few promotions. So uh, in this financial year, we have not hired someone from externally, but yes, internally there are promotions.
Amazing. That's amazing. Vikas, would you want to take this question?
So thankfully in TRC, we didn't had any mobility in a sense that nobody has left. In fact, as Akshay has said in TRC also, it's all homegrown. We do not hire people from outside because we believe that it is important that the person is not having only technical knowledge, but they understand the ethos of the firm. They understand how the firm works. So we always have the promotions inside only, and somebody who have worked for some good number of years only get promoted, and hardly anybody lives. We do have retirements which happens after a particular age within the firm, so that happens, but more as compared to the number of people who retire and after the age, we add more people. So we keep on adding more partners. So we didn't have anything internally, but yes, in the market you keep on seeing that the partner, not only partner, but the whole bunch of team moves from one firm to another firm, and then they take up the work also. That keeps on happening in the market. But
Yeah.
at least at a TRC level, thankfully, we are blessed that we have the people who are sticking with the firm.
Amazing, amazing. I have this last question. Vikas, I'll start with you. When it comes to Indian CEOs, are they asking? What are they asking about AI? You know, AI is such a hype term. Everybody, my feed is filled with Claude AI for finance, FP&A dashboard. You lose your job, whatever. So, what is happening from the CFO's point of view with respect to AI? And do they feel that because of AI, audit will become easier? Is that the perception?
So I'll say more than CFOs, it is the boards which are interacting more on that. And they have started talking that whether you as a firm is using AI and whether you can give me more assurance as compared to the true and fair which is expected by the law. Can you give me more assurance because you can use the AI tools and you can check 100% certain places and you can tell me or you can do the things faster. It's not on the fees. I do not think we did have much discussion on the fees, but yes, on the uses of the AI and how can we give them more assurance by using the AI. That has been a topic which has been discussed in various boards. And answer to that was very clear from our side that it is still very at a very initial stage only. It has not yet matured. As an audit firm, we have started using technology. We have started using, but then a lot of limitations because I can't use anything in the open source or I can't put any of the client's data outside to find out anything from AI. But yes, we use the tools from which we can do things better. We are using tools which can help us to do the audit better. We are using tools which can help us to do much larger samples, and in some cases even 100% of these samples can be checked by using those tools or using those boards which we develop for our respective client. So we are trying to do that better. We are trying to see that it is getting used. But still, I think there is a way to go on this. But yes, a lot of discussions happening on it and a lot of expectations by not only CFOs but by the entire board around this, and we all have to work much more on it.
Thank you, Vikas. Akshay, would you want to take this? My last question.
Yeah, so I still believe that AI's role in audit is still at a primitive stage as of today. Of course, it will be extended over years to come. But from boards and audit committees and CFO side, it's more of what kind of AI tools you are using and how you are ensuring the security of data which is being applied on tools. That is something which has been under discussion. Of course, CFOs and companies are using a lot of dashboards and a lot of AI driven tools, but that is within the
Yeah.
company. But when you're talking about audit, it's still at a primitive stage. What we have done is we have got our own in-house cybersecurity team. So whatever we are doing internally is with the permission of our own cybersecurity teams, and our cybersecurity teams is also making sure that the data which we are collecting from client is secured, and we are
Yeah.
taking utmost care when it comes to handling the data of client, and entire team right from article students, the partners are aware about what needs to be done and what need not be done.
Amazing. So you all have answered all my questions. Thank you so much. Any closing message you'll have? Vikas, I'll start with you. Any closing to wrap this conversation?
No, I can only say and hope that Indian large CF firms like us will have more say and will get more opportunity in the entire landscape which is there. It's such a large landscape and there is so much to contribute. And I'm sure that we'll get fair share. From our side, we are committed to see that we are doing what we can do and what we are required to do on all the fronts. And definitely do expect the reciprocity from the industry as well, from the government as well, from the regulators as well, to help large Indian CF firms to grow further and to have the vision of what Indian Prime Minister has been talking about and as well as the ministry has been talking about. That's the only thing I can add.
Okay, thank you. Akshay, what would you want to say? And also, if you would want to add, what is it when you said spoke to the government and regulators? What is it that you feel they should do more? I'll just ask you again, Vikas. What is it you feel what more could be done?
See, I tell you, MCA also had asked for various things. From our side, we have sent our suggestions and recommendations, many of them. Like I can talk about one specific thing here. If you see in India, the audit of listed companies also can be done by any CF firm, whether they are one-person CF firm with one individual proprietor or with somebody with 1,000 people or 1,500 people. Anybody can do audit of any companies. If you see most of the jurisdiction, there are restrictions, there are norms, there are minimum eligibility conditions for doing audit of such large public interest entities. Like in US also, SEC approves all those names which will do audit of the large listed companies. In India, it is not. So what is happening in the sense is that one side you have Big Four or Big Six, which gets a good chunk of the audit, whereas the other chunk, which is again a large chunk, but then it gets distributed amongst thousands of the CF firms. There are many CF firms which are doing audit of only one listed entity. For them, neither that CF firm is able to grow well, nor that corporate is getting benefited, but still that audit is going on. Whereas if there are some norms, some minimum eligibility conditions, which says given by SEBI, so in that sense, what will happen is that firms with those capabilities, with that minimum eligibility conditions which comply with it, will be able to do it. Then you will find that you have firms 50, 100, 200, 400 CF firms which are in that league to do those audits, which will help to grow the Indian CF firms, those firms are better and bigger. And then only you will come in the range where you are able to compete and able to do much more. So this is one suggestion I said. So we have similarly given certain suggestions to MCA. That is there with them, and I'm sure they are considering it. But any such things can definitely help not only CA firms to grow, but help the entire governance to grow. Because then you have people who are doing it with the adequate knowledge and understanding. It's not that others are not having, but they will not have that much infrastructure, that much investment in technology, or that much investment in quality as compared to the people who are of a decent size.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much. Akshay, over to you. Your closing message.
So, what I would see for all the large and mid-sized audit firms, it will be very aspirational 2 years, and I hope that it turns out to be motivational 2 years for the next 2 terms of audit appointments. And I also believe that in terms of regulators, they are doing a lot of work. They are doing a lot of talks with the both sides, industry as well as audit community. So I believe there has been continuous engagements with the both sides, and this is something which is creating a kind of environment which is required and which is sustainable in terms of improving the audit qualities and audit procedures in India and overall audit landscape in India.
Okay, cool. Yes. So, Akshay and Vikas, thanks a ton for your time. Thank you so much. I've really asked you a lot of questions, made you all sit through an entire hour. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you. And thank you everyone who joined in.
Thank you so much, Senthil. Thanks to Finance Story. And thanks for having us here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll make it into an article and I'll reshare it on my page as well. So,
please
hope it reaches the large.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vikas. Thank you. Bye.